our step stool. This is the side view, this is the end view, and we're gonna draw the top view. So let me just walk you through how we're gonna do that. We're gonna get our paper secured, we're gonna clamp it to the bench so it doesn't move. We're gonna use square for practice. Find center of your paper. It's 17, the paper, so 8.5 is my center. And then we're gonna measure up 1 inch for a base. Find center, put a very light line down the center. Set your square to 1 inch and get yourself a baseline. Now don't go to the end and fall off, turn around, come back from the other way and practice using the pencil in your other hand. So we've established our baseline. Side view is 7 3/4 from one side to the other. So we need to cut that in half. 7 3/4, divide that in half because we're going from center. So 3.5 is half of 7 and half of 3/4 is 3/8. So the combined total, 3.5 plus 4/8 and 3/8 is 7/8. So it's 3 and 7/8 on each side. So I go over here, 3 and 7/8. And come on the other side of the center, 3 and 7/8. And my total should be 7 3/4. Now I project those lines up. Pencil on your mark, tool to the pencil, and draw a light line. Flip it over. Pencil to the mark, tool to the pencil, and draw a light line. From the base to the top, 5.5. I'm gonna set my square to 6.5 because I have a 1 inch baseline. You have to remember that. I'm gonna scribe that line. That's the top of our base. Now, we have a top going on here that's 3/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna add 3/4 to the 6.5, which is gonna put us at 7 1/4. Scribe that line. If you look, we have a 3/4 inch overhang. So let's do that. Measure back 3/4 from the outside of the base. On the other side, 3/4. The outside of the base, project those lines down. Finish off the overhang. So now we have our base established, our top. Now we need to make our cutouts on the bottom. We're coming back 1 3/4. The other side, 1 3/4. And we're going up 3/4 from the base of our stool. So remember, it's 1 inch plus, now we're going 3/4 for our base. We set this to 1 3/4. We scribe that line. Then we get our compass. So we've come back the 1 3/4. We've come up 3/4 for our base. Put an arc here, but I'm going to square it off. So you can see where we're at. Now what I have to do is come over 3/4 with my compass, set my compass to that new mark, and scribe my arc. Over here, come back 3/4, set my compass to that new mark, and scribe that. There's my arc. And I'll erase this. One more detail and we're done. The side pieces are hidden behind this. We have our hidden line right here. So what that is the thickness of our material. So we come back 3/4 of an inch, thickness of our material. We draw that hidden line. And the hidden line is a series of short dashes. That tells the builder that there's a board behind this board. And one other detail is the top. There's a cutout. There's a 1 inch cutout at the top, 1 inch wide. So I'm going to go a 1/2 inch from each side of center. And we're going to project that line up, and that's going to be a hidden line again. All right, there's our drawing. And then what you want to do, everybody, is clean it up. Get rid of the lines you don't need with an eraser. And then take your tool for practice and to finish. You want to darken everything in so you get a nice detailed drawing. Adjusting your square as needed. Good practice. Come in from the ends. Flip it over from the other direction. And for a good detail, it's pencil to the mark, tool to the pencil. Up 1 3/4 for my base. Up 1 inch for the base. Okay, so this is our end view. And then what you want to do to put some lines in here to give us some measurements. Shoot a couple lines across here. Now the top here, 7 3/4. So 7 3/4 is our base, and then our top. So we're going to draw that line. Then we just need the height of our base. Bring those out here. Five and a half. Now this detail, we could show this by just doing a 3/4 with a line here. And right here, we could show that. Drop a couple lines down, following those lines. That's 3/4. So everything we need now is right there. So we have our side view, our end view, and now we need our top. Let's do our top. Find center of the paper, just like we did. I'm gonna use my ruler. It's 17, so it's 8 1/2. Center. I think for the top, I'm gonna center it right in the paper. So let's find center the other way. So it's 11. So half of 11, 5 1/2. 5 1/2, center. Draw that line across, just a light line. Oh, I'm gonna come over here, 4 5/8. I'm gonna go up 4 5/8. That's the outside of our top. Okay, how long is it? The length of our side is 1 foot 1/2 inch. That's 12 1/2 inches. And then a 3/4 overhang on each side is 1 1/2 inches. So 1 1/2. Add those up. As an inch. Bring that inch over there, 14. I'm gonna go 7 from one side, 7 on the other side. Set my square, connect those points. There's top view. Then we've got the cutout for the top, 4 1/2. So we're gonna go 2 1/4, 2 1/4 from center. And it's 1 inch wide, so we're gonna go 1/2 inch from each side, from center. We're gonna set our compass. It's a 1 inch cut. Set the compass to 1/2 inch. Come back on the center line. Set the compass. Draw that. On the other side, set the compass to 1/2 inch. Come back on the center line. Give yourself a mark. Reposition the compass. Inscribe that arc. There's the cutout of our base. Now we need to establish the base under the hidden line underneath. So we said our box is 12 1/2. We're gonna go 6 1/4 on this side, 6 1/4 from center on the other side. So our base is 7 3/4, half of 7 3/4. Once again, 3 7/8. 3 7/8 on this side, 3 7/8 on the other side. I'm going to draw a light line first to follow. That establishes the base. Pencil to the mark, tool to the pencil. Now I have to come in the thickness of the material, 3/4 of an inch. Project that light line around. Can't see through our top, so we identify it with the dash. All right, time to finish it up. So here's our base. Hidden lines. Erase what you don't need. Darken everything up. And one more line. And we can just, if we want, we can put a little shade in here. Show that cutout. If you want, you can just shade this a little bit. Okay, so there's our 3 drawings. You're going to need the side view, the end view, and the top view. There you go.